this video, we're going to do this drawing at the end of the video. So let's start. First, select sketch, then press enter, select this front plane. Just like in the figure, we need to create a center line as it guidelines. Just like in AutoCAD, we need to create a guideline. So select front plane, then start in the origin. So make sure that your units is IPS. Then create, and make sure it is a straight line. And just like in this section, it has also a center line. So we need to create another center line for this section. So after that, we need to create 3 different circles in this section and also on this section. So just create estimated circle, and later on we will use smart dimension in order for us to have the exact units or exact dimension of the circle. Then use smart dimension and go to the figure. So the first circle is all about 130 units. So we need to click it and click and type 130 units. The next measurement is all about 80 units. So drag it here and type 80 units. So the last one is 46 units as its diameter. 46. Then after that, in this section also, we need to have those exact units using smart dimension. So the first one is all about 52 units. The next one is all about 34 units. And the last one is this circle, 16 units. So the next thing to do is to determine the dimension from this center point up to this center point. So we need to sum up this dimension in order to have the total dimension. So 43 plus 37 plus 78 is all about 158 units exactly. Use smart dimension, click here up to here and drag it downward and type 158 units. So the next thing we need to do is to determine the height from this center point up to this center point. So it is stated in the figure that it is 18 units vertically. So we need to extend this smart dimension up to here and type 18 units. The next thing to do is to complete the inner circle of each section. So this is the first section and the second section. So let's go to first section first. So we need to do this iron spike or virus spike figure. So in order to have that, we can use offset entities or line, but in order for us to have a easier drawing, we will use offset entities. Make sure it is a bidirectional. So in order for us to have in a downward and upward direction, and type, since it is 6 units, 6 divided 2 is 3, and select this line and check it. Then use trim entities. And in order for us to have it in the different direction or different parts of the circle, we need to use circular sketch pattern. So the first thing to do is to select this box or this rectangle and point out in the center and select these entities to pattern and select those lines. But before that, click the first line and hold or press Ctrl on your keyboard and select the second line. And in order to have a 7 spike, we need to change the format to 7. There we have it. Then, the next thing to do is to trim. So, trim carefully. And make sure it is trimmed carefully. I forgot this one. And this trim carefully. So, the next thing to do is to have those circles, small circles around the second circle. So, but before that, we need to create or we need to change this circle into like a hidden line. So, in order for us to have that, right click, then select this construction geometry. In order for us to have a shortcut in creating those circles, we need to have a guideline measuring 45 degrees angle. So, we need to have a line from the center up to this point. Then, use smart dimension to have 45 degrees angle. Then, after that, we need to create circle. So, select circle and carefully point out to the midpoint or to this line and drag it to this point until this intersection crosses or passes this line. Then click right here. So create a circle, and just like in the figure, it stated that it is 8 units. So use smart dimension and type 8 units. So just like what we did before, we need to use circular sketch pattern in order for us to have it in different direction. Then we need to make this big arc. So in order for us to have that, we need to use 3-point arc. Point out right here, drag it upward until it reaches this bigger circle. Click up to this point and click it anywhere you want it to click. Make sure you have the relation of each line or each arc. So in order for us to have the relation, click this bottom arrow and add the relation. Select this circle and this arc and select tangent. So as we can see, the tangent symbol is already in the figure. We need it here also, just like what we did in the previous endpoint. Just like in the figure, it is stated that it is 180 as it radius. So use smart dimension and type 180. Then, in order for us to have a easier and better drawing, use offset by 20 units. But for now, we need to change the format into reverse in order for us to have the downward direction only, and type 20. So yes, and trim. So reminder, please be careful while trimming your figures, because sometimes trimming is the most dangerous part of this drawing. We need to use smart dimension again to have the dimension between this arc, just like this, 20. Then we need to draw, or we need to create those arcs between these endpoints. We will use again a 3-point arc. Click right here, and right here. Use smart dimension again and change it to 12 units. Then after that, we need to trim those unnecessary lines. And also, just like what we did before, we need to add relation between this arc and this arc and select tangent in order for us to have a smooth curve. And also for this arc, for this circle and this arc, so add relation again and select tangent. Also for this line and for this circle, we need to create a semi arc or semi fillet having its dimension of 10 units. So 3-point arc, click right here, right, then check, use smart dimension and type 10, then check, so trim, then use add relation to have a tangent between this line and this line, and select tangent. Also for this line and for this circle. So we already made the upper part of the figure. The last thing to do is to make this object or this line. So we need to create 78 units from this point up to this point, and create another 37 units from this point up to this point and connect it here. Okay, 37. Then create another line from this point up to this point. Then in order for us to have this round or this corner, use fillet just like in AutoCAD, measuring 20 as it radius, type 20 and select this line and this line and check it. After that, we need to create another fillet measuring 12 units, 12, then create these entities, the fillet, and check. Make sure that this point, it is a tangent. So again, add relation, point, this point, tangent. Okay, again, click add relation, this point and this point. Okay, again, select 3-point arc from this point up to this point. So make sure it is 12, but before that we need to add relation in order for us to have a smooth curve. Then start smart dimensioning, just like that. So as you can see, we already completed the figure. In order for us to have an easy way, we need to offset this line, then create a semi-arc within this point up to this point, it stated that it has a 8 unit radius. So use fillet and change the units to 8 and select entities to fillet. Check. For this part, is this 5 radius. So we need to create a 3-point arc. If it is aligned and align, just use fillet. But if it is aligned or a circle or a curved line, use a 3-point arc. Use smart dimension and type 5 units. Make sure you always put or add a relation, just like what we did before. So put it right here in order for us to have a space of the drawing. Then, so in order to extend this line, we can use extend entities up to this line. So as you can see, it extends automatically. Then create a straight line up to this point and create another arc, point arc. Make sure it is a tangent. So add relation between this arc and this circle. So as you can see, we already completed and finished. And we need to, lastly, we need to fillet this part. So it has a radius of 14. So use fillet, check, and smart dimension from this point, from this line and this line. So as you can see, we already finished the exact figure just like in the picture. Don't forget to add relation in every curve or in every line, because the relation will serve as for the fully defined. So as you can see, it is underdefined. So in order for us to have a fully defined figure, we need to remove the dimension first. Then select all the parts of the object, then select tool, dimension, and fully defined sketch. So it will calculate all the lines, points, arcs in the object. So as you can see, it is now fully defined. Then select check. The purpose of this fully defined sketch is we can have a 3D modeling if it is fully defined, but if it is underdefined, we cannot proceed in 3D modeling or 3D objects. So that's all for today. Thank you and God bless. Thank you for watching.